Okay. Now, for this example, we want to put the sun here. Okay, this is the sun. Okay. This is the earth. Okay. Now the moon, which is that lesser light, also orbits the earth. Now, with the light of the sun, during this time, as the moon is in this position, the light of the sun is on what we refer to as the dark side of the moon. The dark side of the moon is that side of the moon that we never see, because as the earth rotates, remember, it's also rotating as it's orbiting. We are always facing the moons, that one particular side of the moon that reflects the light. Okay? There's always that one side that we never see. But during this particular time, now some people mistakenly consider the moon being in this point as being the starting point, and they consider the dark moon as being the new moon. That is incorrect. And how do we know that? Because the word says so. Okay, where does the word say that? The scriptures clearly state that he made two great lights. The moon at this point, when it's not giving its light, is not serving its purpose and its function to give light to the earth. So now, when the moon starts its rotation off from this point, it enters into what would be that little sliver of light. Once we see that little sliver of light, that indicates it's the counting point, the start, because it is now performing the function which it was created to do. Okay? Now, as it moves around, the moon has different phases. When it gets to this point, you have a half moon. Okay? When you get to this point, you have the full moon. And then when you get to this point, now once you get to the full moon, as it starts off and the light of the moon grows, it gets to the half point. As it grows more, it gets to the full point. And then once it starts to fullness, then it starts to wane. This part is the waxing, this side. That means that the light of the moon grows as it moves from the dark moon and on around to becoming a full moon. It's the waxing. Then you have another half over here as the moon starts to deplete its light, and this is called or referred to as the waning. We see this process month after month after month as we do the earth going around the sun and the earth spinning on its axis. This is the way that the Most High has designated we determine time. Now, again, the moon orbits the earth as the earth orbits the sun. While this occurs, the moon enters different phases by showing different degrees of light, the waxing and the waning. Since the moon, which is the lesser light, was created to give light on the earth, the counting of the months does not begin until the first crescent of light is visible. This is called Rosh Chodesh, beginning of the moon or month. Okay? It takes the moon 29 days plus 12 hours. Now, let me write that up on the board. 29 days, 12 hours. Okay? And what we normally do, we round that off to 30 days. Okay? But the exactness of it is the 29 days plus 12 hours to orbit the earth and go through its phases. Now, here's the problem we face. When the earth is going around the sun, it takes 365 days. Okay? And as the moon orbits the earth, by the time it gets from the vernal equinox and all the way back down to the vernal equinox, referring to the earth, it takes the moon 354 days. Okay? So what's wrong with that picture? As you can see, the solar year, which is the 365-day process it takes the earth to go around the sun, is greater than the length of time as the moon is going around the earth. Okay? 354 days. There's a great lack here. Okay? It's real simple mathematics with this. Alright? So, what's the difference? 5 minus 4, you got your 1. 6 minus 5. There's an 11-day difference. Okay? So now, that presents us a problem. What's the problem? Because now, when you're counting the 12 months of a year, because that's where we get our 12 months, or when you look at the term month, it is derived from the word moon. So you have 12 cycles of the moon, or the 12 moon phases, which consists of, the 29 and a half days. So, as we're counting, at some point, the 12-month period starts to fall back. So, what we have to do, based on the lack, okay, since the orbiting of the moon around the earth, which is 354 days, does not equal the orbiting of the earth around the sun, which is 365 days, every 3 years, okay, if you simply multiply 3 times 11, that's 33. Every 3 years, an additional month is added. We have to do that, just like with the earth going around the sun, and you have the 365 and a quarter day. Every 4 years, you have to add an additional day so that the earth going around the sun can maintain its balance or its order. Likewise, so that the moon can maintain the same amount of time as it takes for the earth to go around the sun, ever so often, you have to add an extra month. You have some of my brothers and sisters out there who, for lack of understanding, when it comes to adding this 13th month, one of the problems that they have with that is because the Torah does not specifically say to do that. But the Torah gives us in the book of Bereshit the sun and the moon as the greater and the lesser light. What we as humanity do, study by observance what's taking place. Because what would happen is this, and we're going to see the importance of this as we start to get into the holy days. Now we're going to look at the vernal equinox. Keep that in mind. If the vernal equinox, let me erase this. I want to change something now. To another perspective. Okay. Say this is your spring. Summer. Winter. Oh, I'm sorry. Fall, winter. Fall, winter. Okay, now, spring, again, we're going to see, contrary to popular opinion, is